one of the things that's kind of interesting about the situation is that, everybody's practicing social distancing and there's a feeling of not being able to connect with one another. However, we as a society have been creative, namely with this tool here, Zoom, and I feel like we've gotten to know one another a little bit better, through these measures. And that's part of the reason why, Craig, I wanted to visit with you here today. You and I have a relationship dating back several years, but I like for others in the industry to get to know a little bit more about you. And so I guess what I'm curious about, Craig, in that respect, is so many people, aspiring broadcasters, are always curious about how somebody gets from point A to point B. So for you, I believe you're from North Carolina. Is that right, Craig?
That's correct.
So your journey from North Carolina to where you are today, how did you get to where you are?
Well, the first thing I'm going to say, Brant, is I think all of us have discovered, you've been asked this, I've been asked this, many broadcasters are asked, what do I need to do? How do I go where I'm going to do what I'm doing? And the first thing I've thought about over time to say is the dynamics have changed for the person looking to move forward in this field now as they were 35 years ago for myself, and less time than that for you. While they have changed, a lot of those changes are for the better for a lot of people, and I'll get into those in a moment. I grew up in North Carolina. That's where my father was from, and I grew up in Greensboro. And when I was 18, I attended the University of North Carolina, Wilmington, down by the beach, UNC by the sea, as we used to call it. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm a big beach kid. I take my family back to the coast of North Carolina every summer on vacation. We'll see about this summer, but every other summer, we've been going on vacation back there, and I love it. And I actually had gone there my freshman fall semester. I'd figured that probably I wasn't going to spend my entire academic career there. I thought maybe I'd probably transfer to the University of North Carolina, and that sort of thing at some point. Wasn't sure, but I was going to start there and get some of the basic things out of the way. I got down there. My father was an advertising guy, and he accepted a position with the Dallas Times-Herald. So in the fall of 1978, the rest of my family, and by then I was the fourth of five kids, so there was only one more who was still in school, my younger brother. The younger brother and my parents moved to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I came out for Christmas vacation, thought it was wonderful, liked everything about it, and decided I'm going to stay here, take a semester off, then ultimately figure out my plan and go on to school from there. I went to junior college in the Dallas-Fort Worth area just to get some basics out of the way at Northlake College in Irving. Then actually transferred to Texas Tech, and I was at Tech for one semester. I enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed my time in Lubbock, enjoyed it at Tech, but I just got this feeling for what I wanted to do, that I kind of needed to be back in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. By then, I'd kind of identified that I wanted to be in broadcasting, that I wanted to be in sports broadcasting. So I came back after one semester at Texas Tech, transferred to the University of North Texas, studied under the great, the immortal Bill Mercer, who's 94 years young, and still love visiting with him today. He was broadcast professor up there, and they had a great sports broadcasting curriculum up there with the likes of Mark Followill and Dave Barnett, and of course several of the guys who work at the Ticket in Dallas, Dunham and Miller, and several other ones as well, all have come through that program there in North Texas, and it was a great sports broadcasting program. While there, I got an opportunity to work as an overnight, or from 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. actually, news tape editor at the all news station KRLD, and I was writing anchors for leads for the news anchors and things like that while studying broadcasting in North Texas, and all the while hoping to still break into sports. I was cutting my play-by-play teeth doing Pilot Point High School football, and then Louisville High School football, and Crum High School basketball, and Ponder High School basketball, all those things. And Bill Mercer brought me onto the broadcast for North Texas, and started working on those games with him as well. And just before it came time to graduate, from North Texas, I had the opportunity to move into sports full-time at KRLD. Brad Sham was the sports director, of course, the voice of the Dallas Cowboys, and brought me in as a member of the sports staff. And I was there for 12 years, from 1984 to 1996, eventually becoming the sports director after Brad left. I did that. That's where we started doing high school football games there. I added to it, and that ultimately also germinated in the idea for Fox Sports Southwest to do the high school football programming that I do for them, because it came from a high school radio scoreboard show that I did back then. And I was a studio anchor on the old Southwest Conference Network from 1988 through 1991, and then was offered the opportunity to move into the booth on the Texas Longhorn broadcast in 1992 as the analyst, alongside Bill Schoening, who was the play-by-play voice, obviously, and then did that for 10 football and 9 basketball seasons. And then Bill left after the 2001 football season to take over the play-by-play duties for the San Antonio Spurs. And then that's when I moved into the play-by-play role for Texas. So I've just wrapped up 19 seasons of doing football and basketball and baseball at the University of Texas. So that's kind of as condensed as I can make it, the scope of my time and working my way up through broadcasting.
What I take from that, Craig, is that I find that so many people these days want instant success, or, they want to get from point A to point B very quickly. You mentioned, your time at KRLD, 12 years. You mentioned your time working side by side with Bill Schoening as the analyst for another 9-10 years.
10 years, yeah.
You were never in a hurry. How important is patience in this industry?
Well, I think we all would like it to move faster. And I think we would all like to have opportunities to have it move faster. But there has to be a realism in that we all love this job very, very much. And we all encompasses a large group of we all. There are many, many people who want to work in this business, who want to work in the higher profile jobs in this business, who want those opportunities. And they're just not going to be handed to you. And they're just not, it's rare is the time that it's just going to pop up and be there for you. It takes perseverance. It takes a lot of work. I've spoken to a lot of both high school and collegiate classes about this. I guest lecture every year back in my alma mater, North Texas, to the sports broadcasting class, and they kind of understand that it's a longer road. But when I visit, like, say, with a high school TV production class, one of the most ready questions that I get, that I can count on every year, I'll get, how much money can you make? And how soon can I be on Sports Center anchoring? And I tell them, if you're getting into it for the money or for that type of meteoric rise, you're in it for the wrong reason, because every person has their own journey. Every person has their own climb, and it probably never moves as quickly as any of us want it to. And you're right, patience is important. I would say, and not just patience, to me, has to evolve into more than just sitting back and waiting for your chance. One of my favorite quotes from Darrell Royal, the great Texas football coach, was, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And the opportunity will come about, but you've got to be prepared for it at the time. But in the interim, the way that you kind of prepare, find some other things that work. When I first got to KRLD, I was the 5th guy on the totem pole. We had a full sports staff. Chuck Cooperstein, the voice of the Mavericks, was on that staff. We had 2 other guys ahead of me. I was the 5th guy. And whenever we were having college broadcasts of SMU basketball or TCU football and basketball, I knew I wasn't going to get those opportunities. So the deal is, how can I find where I can fit with that and still do something connected to it? And it happened through 2 things for me. One was the Southwest Conference Radio Network thing, but that was an outgrowth out of doing the high school football thing. That was my niche, and I loved Texas high school football. High school football in North Carolina is big and it's good, but it's not like it is in Texas. The way it is in Texas is unlike anywhere else in the United States. And I've seen high school football in California and Arizona and Florida and Ohio and Western Pennsylvania and all the other hotbeds of it, but there nowhere is it on the scale that it is in the state of Texas. So covering it, following it, doing the scoreboard show, doing play-by-play of games, that became an outlet and a love for me that I still love to this day. I would never walk away from it willingly, obviously. That's why I still enjoy doing the state championship telecast for Fox Southwest every year. But it's about finding something to help you navigate the patience that you have to employ until you get the opportunity to do what you want to do. But the end all goal for me was to eventually become the play-by-play voice of a major Division I institution. I didn't know it was going to be the University of Texas. Didn't know. And there were a couple of times where I had opportunities where I thought I was going to be the play-by-play voice at another institution a couple of times, and it didn't work out. So it was going back about being patient about those things, and ultimately it worked out. So within the realm of patience, which is hard for some people to believe, I would say find something to help you navigate that patience that helps you as a broadcaster, that you enjoy, that you like doing. Hopefully, maybe you can earn some money, if not a living at it, until you land that opportunity, and you have to keep pressing forward until that opportunity arrives.